In a world where money is printed out of thin air, in a world where your best friend lost their life savings on Hawk to a coin, in a world where everyone sells the bottom, one man prevails against all odds because they subscribed to JJ's Cryptic Corner. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. Happy Tuesday. How's everyone doing? Am I blurry? I feel like I'm a little bit blurry. Let me unblur myself. And I think that's better. We good? Okay. Let's get right into it. Bitcoin is currently trading at 87,695.55. Looking good. We are chilling. And everything's good. What's going on, Philly? Tom Selleck's Coat, Dremmer, Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn. Appreciate you guys. Happy Tuesday, my friends. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we are at. I am in an immense amount of pain. But, I don't know. Insert some inspirational, like, gym quote or something. 88,054. 88,054. And then we've got, I'm going to go, I guess, up to here, 89,778. And then to the downside, we've got a couple. I'm going to do this one, 86,927. 86,927. And then I'm going to do this one, 86,596. And then I'm going to do this one, 85,999. And then I'm going to do this one, 85,469. And then, this is the last one, I promise, 84,607. I think we've officially entered our holiday week liquidity. Billy said, dude, you talking like buying high and selling low is not the norm. Gourmet Doodle, Tom Selleck's Doodle, JJ Doodle, Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn said LOL. I guess I could just call them Gourmet Brands now. I guess I'm going to have to change everyone's names in the winner's Google Doc. So I had a concept, guys. I had a fun idea for the daily close contest. Tell me what you guys think. For December, should we do double or nothing? I guess the nothing part is meaningless. Should the points count as 2 per win in December specifically? I think that'd be kind of fun. Give everyone like a last second chance to like build their rank really quick. I think that'd be kind of fun. Fun idea. Anyways, Bitcoin 87,657 and 60 cents. We do look like we're getting a little baby reversal, continuation of our uptrend. Our RSI's dancing around the moving average, which is nice. Green dot of the momentum wave, point to the upside. All signs point to potential continuation to the upside. What we don't want, and we've seen this way too many times, what we don't want is one of these, because that sucks. And that's kind of what happened here. It looked like everyone was like, oh, look, we're bouncing. Oh, we're bouncing. Oh, we're not bouncing. We're bouncing. And it's just going to keep doing the same thing. So, we'll see. Tom Selleck's said for the 3 daily close contests we'll have in December. No, I mean, I guess it depends on work. It entirely depends on work, man. I think after this weekend, we're going to probably figure out how to hold a daily close contest no matter what time I get on. Nicholas Guro said, yo, what's going on, Nicholas Guro? So yeah, we don't want to kind of curl over like that on Bitcoin specifically. Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 58.56. I really like this downtrend. I suppose you could say I was off a little bit, because we are kind of in a nice downtrend on dominance already. I was looking for Wednesday, November 26th, and that is tomorrow, or today, depending on when you look at the chart and what time zone you're in. So, we'll see if we get a continued downtrend on dominance. We do get green dots. I don't know if those are even relevant, if I'm being completely honest, and it is technically oversold. Phyllis said, JJ, there should be a contest Here should be a contest. People can choose how much are you willing to risk. If you're the closest without going over, everyone else's winnings get erased. Oh, that's kind of funny. You can bet your current rank. So like if you have like 10 points, you can bet 5. And if you win, then you, I guess, what would you get? 5 from everybody else? What would you get if you won? You would just get that many points and everybody else's stays the same? Or they lose what they bet? That's that's a really cool idea. That could get really dangerous. I kind of like it. All right. Let's move forward. ETH is down 0.14% on the day since the daily close specifically. We're sitting at 29.55, making another attempt at 3K. Can we break above it this time? RSI looks good. We've stayed well above the moving average, and we got a green dot on the momentum wave point to the upside, but we are entering overbought on our momentum wave, so it could get spicy here. Volume could be better, and again, we're going into a pretty decent-sized weekend with the holiday, so we got to take that into consideration as well. Hopefully everyone convinces their aunt and uncle and grandma and grandpa and brother and sister and mom and dad to buy some crypto. That's your guys' job this weekend. Get your family to FOMO in just before the bear market. I don't actually believe we're going to a bear market. You know, it was a joke. But some people do. Solana's up 0.13% on the day, currently trading at 139.14. Can we get above 140 is the question for that guy. Closest, yes, not just being under. Oh, so you're just talking closest in general. Well, yeah, I guess that would be fair. Closest in general. If we switch it to the Philly thing with the betting, where you can bet your current winning points, then we'll just do closest. We'll eliminate the Price is Right rule. So with Solana, I want it to get back above this upper trend line, the blue trend line up here. I like that we're trading above the purple. That's important. That's the neckline, the legacy neckline from the old inverse head and shoulder that led us to new all-time highs. So can we get above the blue line that we've projected quite a few times already, namely being the one from November 20th? Can 5-6 days later make a difference and we get a break above? Price is approximately 144, 145. We're continuing to bounce off of the moving average on the RSI. And we got a green dot on the momentum wave pointing to the upside. Total 3 is up 0.05% on the day, currently trading at 879.71. Can we get above 883? Looks very similar to ETH and Solana. Kind of a double top situation. I would love to break above that 883 resistance line. Let's break above that. Reject upper trend line. Support 883. And then break and continue the upside. Let's do that. So, not financial advice, potential breakout Thursday, which would be crazy. We'll see what happens. Just throwing it out there. Tom Selleck Scout said, Uncle Steve, please be my exit liquidity. You have to buy. Uncle Steve, if you bought 10 XRP, you could be a millionaire. When they integrate Swift and the aliens come and they impregnate Aunt Marilyn, you're going to wish you had that much XRP. Did that get too dark? A little weird? Uncle Steve the doctor? ADA's up 0.12% on the day. We got above 42, which is nice. Can we get above the yellow trend line next? We're looking for a break above 42.75, I'm going to call it. Looks like we did get a bounce off the moving average on the RSI and a green down to the momentum wave, pointing to the upside. Looking good. Snack is chilling at 15.555. Can we continue recovering here? Could I make up some inverse head and shoulder thing? I don't know. No, it's pretty sloppy. It's not sloppy enough for inverse head and shoulder thing for sure. I'm pleased to announce that I received an alert from Coinbase today that my AVAX buy is up, and I was like, oh, that's pretty sick. XRP is quite interesting here. We're sitting at 219. It looks like we rejected 225. Yeah. We rejected 225, and we're kind of coming back down. I don't know, is it testing 220? It's below 220 right now. I suppose that would be an important level to get above. The uptrend, the shorter term uptrend is intact for sure. Is it going to continue to remain that way? Probably. We'll have to see what happens over the American holiday. Volume looks decent here too, which is exciting. So let's get above 222 and then 228 and continue to the upside. Mr. Roberts said, I'm present. Hello, good people. Hey, JJ. What's going on, Mr. Roberts? I am physically exhausted today. H-bar looks freaking awesome. This actually looks really nice. This is a flag, and you will never convince me it's not a flag. If I'm going with a frugal price target, oops, that's not what I want. If I'm going with a frugal price target, did I not just click green? Am I crazy? Then we're looking at a potential, not financial advice, breakout, not financial advice, of not financial advice. 17 cents. Whoa. The water bottle just made a click sound. Definitely didn't scare me because I'm a big manly man. Let's see if we get a breakout and a 17-cent target hit. I'm going to put it on here. Bam. JJ's little bull flag target from November 25th, 2025. Will it hit? Find out next week. What is this? What is this stream turning into? Philly said, look at my contest number 2 suggestion, Mr. Roberts Doodle. Mr. Roberts said, Philly McCriddle. McCriddle? What in the world? I thought Philly said McGriddle, which made me hungry. Have you guys ever had a McGriddle? Quite possibly the most phenomenal breakfast cuisine by any fast food restaurant ever. The McGriddle definitely belongs in like artificial food hall of fame. Mr. Roberts said, I should have spelled it McCrugel. My bad. You guys are all over the place. Sweet. SWE's up. Nope, it's not. SWE is down 1.31% on the day, currently trading at 154.29. I did get an alert for this, though. Yesterday, apparently, since the daily close, it was up quite a bit. Enough for them to send out an alert. It is currently sitting at 154.21. Holding 150 is going to be the biggest deal. I guess getting above 154.67 and staying above that would also be a big deal. Then we can hold that as support and continue our journey to hopefully break 162. Tom Salkscroat said they inject the biscuits with the syrup. Yum. Exactly. I always just assumed that it was a living thing and that the syrup was its blood. With the way that McDonald's worked, that would not surprise me. They're like, how do we get it so that we can breed the biscuits? The McDonald's scientists are like, what did you just say to me? Well, you know, like, I want the biscuits to reproduce. And the scientist is like, flour and like water? What are you asking me? They're just confused the whole time. They've been trying to like teach them to like cross this weird line in between like supernatural and science for like 20 years. Cheers, guys. Delicious chai latte. Don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for being here. Billy said, here's the official Philly prediction. We pump about 10 days before the rate cut, and then we sell the news into the next major leg down. That's possible. Ondo doing a whole lot of nothing. Arrow also doing a whole lot of nothing. Pinlink in the middle of doing something. I'm going to skip a couple. There's some weird stellar news that I think should trigger a massive buy, but there's not any happenings, which is very odd. Cass. Whoa! I actually saw that Cass was kind of flying. I didn't realize it was. Like, I didn't look at the chart. Look at that volume. Beautiful. It's chilling at 5. What is that? A 20% pump in a day? Jeez. 25? 28? Holy cow. If we start from, like, if you would have bought the Pico bottom for some reason, you're up 37%. That is beautiful. See, this is what I've been looking for out of Cass. It is about damn time. Can they wake up and actually send it higher? It does look like this has potential to be like an actual like adult crypto move versus like this kiddie pool nonsense that they've been messing around with. Like there's actual adults behind the wheel. Exciting potential here. Can we get back above 5178? I guess getting above 5 is the biggest deal right now. Volume looks great. We are incredibly overbought on the 4-hour RSI, so keep that in mind. You also got a red dot in the momentum wave pointing to the downside. Billy said, I'm shocked. Do you think H bar is one of the coins that goes away in the next bear market? Why? I just think that it's not that I think it's going to go away. There's a stipulation to that. I think they need to do something to justify their market share or risk disappearing. Where's my stupid garbage that I wrote down? Right here. If we are in a bear market, these are the blue chips I don't think will recover. Okay, I guess H bar is not that one. H bar is one of the ones that I think will disappear. And part of that is because they got their ETF and nobody gave a crap. Look, ETF. Would you believe me if I told you this received an ETF? Where? You'd probably guess right here or something, right? Nope, it was like right here. And we're down since then. So again, it is recency bias. You're not supposed to look at the market that way. I am being a pessimistic asshole when I make that decision. So keep that in mind. Not a huge fan of Kevin O'Leary. I would love to interview him. But he also, in my opinion, is not as well versed as somebody like Mark Cuban, at least when it comes to making money. Kevin O'Leary has like $400 million. Mark Cuban has like billions. So Tom Selleck Show said no one cares about ETF anymore. Exactly. I think all the ETF does is ties it down to a stupid schedule. Avalanche looks great on the 4-hour. It's at 0.42 on the day. Beautiful bounce off of our legacy trend line. This is what these charts, in my opinion, need to look like. It needs to look like someone is actually scooping this stuff up and we're actually getting some upside volume. People are buying into the upside. You want to see recovery with conviction. Billy said, why the F is positive news always sell the news? I think because everyone's a weenie. That's pretty much the bottom line. Everyone's a big weenie. And not like in a fun way. In like a really inconvenient and uncomfortable way. But Avalanche looks good at 14.24. Can we get above 14.50 and then make our way towards 15? So 15 is going to be a nice psychological level, obviously. And then we're looking at 15.97, which is literally just another dollar pretty much. You could probably even get away with calling that 16. John Gregory said, can you take a peek at QNT? Thanks. Yes, I can. Let me look at Link really quick first. Chainlink looks decent as well. We got a break above 1268. Let me zoom in a little bit more for you guys. We got a break above 1268 after resistance. Resistance, support down here, break, midpoint resistance, support, break. Now that we're above the midpoint in between 1268 and 1339, can we use that to get above 1339 next? Volume could be a little bit better, but it's not bad. RSI is moving or riding the moving average to the upside. And we got a green dot on the momentum wave, also pointing to the upside. So take a look at QNT. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for being here. Ooh, this thing woke up a little bit too. See, this, in my opinion, and again, this could be, you could probably make the argument that this is just a dead cat bounce or a necessary recovery in a broader downtrend, whatever you firmly believe. You could probably sell that just as much as I could sell the opposite. But we are seeing strength on alts while Bitcoin is kind of lingering and even going down, which leads me to believe. Waterfly said it says YouTube special. What does? Am I featured? That would actually be pretty sick. What says YouTube special? We got 17 people watching right now. It's quite significant. Anyways, the altcoins kind of waking up while Bitcoin is lingering sideways is a telltale sign that we might be getting some nice, I don't know, a little alt season strength. We don't have to call it an alt season. We can have like a little micro alt season. What if I said yes featured? That's freaking awesome. Thank you for telling me that, Waterfly. Anybody new, welcome. Don't forget to smash the like button. Subscribe if you guys are enjoying yourself. Join the Discord in the description. It's completely free. Always will be. It's a ton of fun. There's obvious volume spikes on this, which kind of coincide with moves, which is interesting. You got to pump off of that one. This one also got a pump, and this one also got a pump, which is great. The question is, there's clear horizontal resistance here. Can you get above that next? You had previous support turned resistance, resistance, resistance. So getting above that's going to be a big deal. RSI is overbought on the 4-hour time frame. So be careful with that. And again, that's not gospel. Like, you could just as easily continue to the upside. And even if you just chop sideways, that RSI will kind of reset itself. Beefy daily candle right here from yesterday. That's up 11.87% yesterday. That's huge. Volume looks decent on that move as well. RSI got a bullish cross over the moving average. Also probably a factor. Green dot of the momentum wave pointing to the upside. You're kind of all set for some potential upside here. It looks really good too. It looks like a double bottom on the daily. So the potential's there entirely. It looks great. Next stop, I would guess your next area of potential resistance is probably going to be right here, which is just above 100. I would count between 100 and 101. It's going to be psychological at 100. This 101 is kind of going off of this potential, if you wanted to call this a fugly inverse head and shoulders, which kind of played out. That neckline right there is where that 101.48 comes into play. Anywhere where there's a ton of confluence, you also got a bounce here. You got resistance there, support, support, support. Yeah, this 101.48 is a very relevant level. Look at this. Last time you did that, you flew up quite a bit too. Look at that. Wow. So if you would have bought, let's say you buy, it gets that bounce, and you buy the top of this little bounce down here, and you sell the Pico top, you could have made 143%. That's pretty sick. Waterfly said, use like. Yeah, guys, smash the like button. Tom Selleck Scout said, most alts flat. Hopium engaged. 1000%. We got primo Hopium, especially when we got 16, 17 people in the chat. Giovanni said, yo, when moon, what's going on, Giovanni? Philly said, Giovanni 2032. John Gregory said, thanks, JJ. Absolutely, John Gregory. Appreciate you. So, yeah, get above this, I'm going to call it 88-ish, 89 level. It's a little bit iffy, you know. If you want to push it up or down, you can. This is kind of the mean, because you got this resistance, resistance, support, support. You know, pick your poison. Mr. Roberts said, ooh, might be a buy now. LOL, rare earth deal with China not going so good. One more pump for those stocks, I hope. What do you mean? You mean the rare earth deal with China is not going good, or you is not going good because of the rare earth deal with China? Doge, kind of a nothing burger right now. We do know that Doge is kind of the people's meme coin, though. We're on the daily, zooming way out. Yeah, this is kind of like the avalanche line that I bought at, which was a great buy so far. I guess if we are going to continue to be bearish, you know what's really crazy is that October 10th wick, the scam wick from October 10th, actually perfectly touched this line. Kind of blows my mind. But I suppose if we are going to continue a downtrend for any reason, I'm looking for probably 98 or 9.8 cents. You do have a confirmed green dot on Market Cipher at the Pico low right here. So the potential for at least a short-term reversal is definitely there, for sure. But looks good. Go back down to the 4-hour. I'm going to skip a couple. We're going to go straight to silver. Actually, before I do that, let's go look at Energy Fuels Inc. Ooh. Pun intended. Okay, so we had a trend line here, and the trend line was kind of relevant for a short period of time. Well, I guess where is it touching? I'm going to connect it right there. That looks better. Okay. So you kind of had an upper trend line. You broke above it. You danced around for a little bit, and then you kind of started to break down. You established this lower trend line when you did that, and you just broke pretty harshly with this monster move right here below, and now you're coming back up for a retest. So I suppose a rejection here at probably 15. That's a nice psychological number too. Look for a reaction at 15. You either want to break back above 15 and get above it and hold above it, or reject it. That'd be my guess. Those are your two options, bearish and bullish. It was oversold when it reversed on the 4-hour RSI, so that would have been your telltale sign to buy. Not financial advice. Mr. Robert said, read that already. Philly said, no, oh no. Waterfly said, please use like. Our host is special, if you know what I mean. Now everyone's leaving, Waterfly. Mr. Robert said, ooh, is US backed? Waterfly said, I'm backed up, mister. Need fiber? I thought you said you pooped like 4 times yesterday. Mr. Robert said, Waters, rinse that out with whiskey like a real man. I'm pretty sure a whiskey enema would probably result in alcohol poisoning. Don't recommend. I do not recommend. Silver. Silver is kind of playing around with our levels right now. 52 is the one to watch just because that was a target previously, and it's got some confluence now. We are establishing some semblance of... Actually, I think I drew this yesterday. We kind of have this triangle that we broke out of just now. I'm going to call it a midterm triangle. Like midterm time frame. It has nothing to do with midterm elections. Midterm time frame triangle. Or flag, you know, what have you. I think our target was it 55? Or was it 57? I don't remember. Breakout. It's way higher. It's almost 60. So we're looking at 58 potential. This, again, though, is not gospel. We do also have this bigger triangle. Hold on, I gotta... Can you even equate this to a triangle at this point? It's kind of like an ascending wedge. Yeah, see? You got confluence 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the top blue line is your 1, 2. And I think, don't quote me on this, I do believe that this is a bearish pattern. But this is a bullish pattern right here. So this, I think, might cancel out the broader bearish pattern, little double top scenario. It all depends on where the market goes, really. RSI looks good, sitting well above the moving average. You got a green dot on your momentum wave, pointing to the upside. And your bearish div may have played out with this little downtrend move right here. So you might be good. What if I said LOL? I am drinking whiskey at the moment, mister. Nice. Very nice. Alright, so yeah, silver looks decent. Let's go take a look at gold. Jas said, Stein announces 1 billion rare earth magnet plant in Johnson City, North Carolina. Very nice. Waterfly shared a bunch of emojis. Waterfly, did you see the peen of dump? The peen of dump emoji? That was a pretty good one. Quite possibly the most bearish pattern that exists. Cheers, guys. Happy Tuesday. Now, gold. Gold, on the contrary to silver, longer term, looks a little bullish to me. Not that silver looks bearish, but the longer term on silver does not look great compared to gold. And I think that that's because of the symmetry to gold's triangle, which I do believe symmetrical triangles are a little 50-50. But we got this inverse head and shoulder that played out. Textbook. We rejected, forming this upper trend line, which now has a third point of confluence right where we're at. We're kind of bunching up. I guess my only concern here would be that we did not break to the downside first. And you guys all know my stance. Usually when there's some kind of symmetrical triangle or bull flag or anything of the sorts, we usually get a initial fake breakout, and then the proper real breakout goes the opposite direction. Having said that, I really like all of our momentum wave green dots. Usually whenever we see that building up on the lower half of the chart, momentum wave green dots building up over a very long period of time, it's pretty bullish. This right here was bearish because we got a crap ton of red dots. And the price, obviously, bearish is a little subjective. You know, the price continued to climb like crazy. But when I say bearish, I mean the longer term, there was a pullback basically signaled by all of this bullish half of the momentum wave price action occurring. Now we're at the bearish half, kind of filling up, which we know is usually followed by a pretty decent sized pump. Here's all of your bearish half of the momentum wave price action, and then when that flips to the bullish half and it lingers in the bullish half and you get all your red dots and stuff, that's when the price skyrockets. So this right here is actually repeating right now as we speak, right here, with all of this. I guess, yeah, it starts exactly right there. So I'm going to copy this, or I'm just going to pull it over here, I guess. We're looking at a potential January, if we're going to break up or down. If this symmetrical triangle means nothing, then that's going to be our next target concept area, January, for a gold breakout to the upside. Gourmet Brand said, what's a reasonable time to wait? Would you get in at 15.05, 15.10? If it pumps, if it drops below 14.95, how long do you wait to get in? What's your take when watching for a certain level? Okay, let's go take a look. So if I was looking at this for a buy, it's not a symmetrical triangle, so the first breakout being a fake out rule kind of doesn't apply, but we can apply the same logic here. We are in a prolonged downtrend, especially for a stock. Started in October, around October 15th. We hit the peak, and it took a little rest and kind of fell through the floor, we'll call it, and established an uptrend, and then broke below that as well. Let me look at the higher time frame really quick. Daily is not quite oversold, but it's close. Let's see. So I'm looking at, I see this. I see all of this stuff. Let's see what that looked like. Actual levels. Okay, so that was leading into a bottom. That was kind of a sideways linger. So when was the last breakout? Okay. So I'm looking at this for reference. This breakout, which had a retrace and then a continuation, which resulted in more upside. That retrace did eventually become oversold on the daily. Now, that's not to say that it has to happen again this time. This RSI does look like it's curling over. Like, this looks like a parabola or some kind of a bottoming curve. And it could happen way faster than that as well. This could do this, or even this. So, keep an eye on that. RSI crossing bullish over the moving average, and you got a green dot in your momentum wave. Unconfirmed green dot on Market Cipher. But money flow is flipping green. And people are buying the dip. Tyler said, am I still winning or what? JJB for real? 0 to 10, how dead are we? 10 being dead AF. What time frame? I'm gonna go 5 until you give me a time frame. Gourmet Brands Brooklyn said, I hear you. Sometimes I like to pick top bottom if I'm day trading. Just wanted to get a general consensus. If I was buying this for a longer term play, I would probably just buy it. But shorter term, if I'm trying to be picky about my levels, volume kind of fell off, which I think is a good thing. You did get a nice rebound off of that drop, but it doesn't seem to have dropped. See, short term is a little more complicated for me because I'm kind of a momentum trader. It's down 45% from the top. So I would buy, if it comes back down to 14, I would buy, just because I like to make plans at certain levels. 14 is a nice psychological number. If it goes down further, I would look at 10 for the next buy level. Like, you got to make it make sense. Because if you're like, oh, I'm going to buy it 14, and then it goes down to like 13, you're like, I'm going to buy it 13 as well. What's the point? You know, you're being that nitpicky, because then at that point, if it goes down to 12, you could have just kind of doubled your buying power. Does that make sense? Tyler said, am I winning? Yeah, you're still winning, Tyler. Mr. Robert said, price action needs to grab $21. That candle is fair game from a few weeks ago, I think. Oh, what? This gigantic gap? Does look like kind of a mess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a psychological number guy. It also does, though, look like it might be committing to this reversal. So tomorrow morning could just break right through that and continue the upside. I don't know. I don't know. I would want to learn more, I guess, about the underlying scenario with the stock itself, with the energy sector and all that stuff, or whatever this is. Gourmet Brands Brooklyn, I'm just too bullish on energy stocks since Trump is so pro-energy. More we pump out, cheaper it'll be. Mr. Roberts said those people want their money back. That's true. More Mohar Productions said you're a gigantic gap. Dang. Gourmet Brand said not bullish. I don't know what I said. Tyler said, JJ, you sound sick or gay. I can't decide. I've been losing my voice every day. I don't know why. It might be gay. Oh, that's delicious. Billy said 45%. Yikes. From the peak. Pico peak. Okay. We went through gold and silver, DXY. Is DXY going to reject 100? Got above it for a hot second. But it seems to have potentially given up. Hopefully. I don't know. We'll see what happens. DXY. I'm kind of... We've been keeping an eye on the DXY. It seems unnecessary. But... Zach said, not sure why I'm not coming through as ZC Productions. Mohar was my old public access TV show. That's pretty funny, actually. YouTube changed it so that everyone's like screen name is unique to avoid like impersonation or some junk. Tom Selleck Scout said, guy swallowing too many loads keeps messing with his voice. Wouldn't that make your voice better? It's like a natural lubricant. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm not swallowing enough. That was said, dead as in bags stacked again in 3 more years, but not sooner. Oh, 3 more years is ridiculous. I personally, and this is just me, I think that we have yet to see the actual like euphoria top setup situation. There's a million reasons why. And my biggest, I guess, the biggest thing that I'm kind of against, I like this 2026 thing is really calling to me. But my biggest issue that I have with the bear consensus is just the time frame. They're like, well, the 4-year cycle, and that's just not good enough for me. Because the counter arguments far outweigh, well, the 4-year cycle demands it. The business cycle makes more sense. It just happened to align with the 4-year cycle. This is the first time it's not. And it's also the first time, wouldn't you know, we didn't get an alt season. Or any alt rotation whatsoever. And I don't know. So I heard a really good metric the other day. They talked about how there's like last bull market, there was like 1,300 cryptocurrency, 1,300 other cryptos, 1,300 altcoins with like volume above $1,000 a day or something like that. And this bull market, there's 4 million or more cryptocurrencies, but there's still only 1,300 altcoins with $1,000 or more in daily volume. So that metric has not changed. People can they can reproduce garbage, but that garbage does not add or subtract value to the market. Just because there's more garbage floating around in the background does not mean that all of the capital went to that garbage. There was just no capital to begin with, and people are trying to figure out an excuse as to why we haven't, experienced a proper bull market. And because they're impatient, their brain is very much like, oh, it's over, and it's because of meme coins. Tom Stock Scout said we only have 3 points of confluence, so not super reliable for the top being in. All right, what do we got? Let's see. Tom Stock Scout read that already. Tyler said dead. Yep, I read that. Tom Stock Scout again said, you would know better than me, apparently. I would think it make you phlegmy. Ooh. That's awful. Mr. Robert said, Gourmet, I got sidetracked. Sorry. I'm pulling up my ooh chart now. Philly said, Flemmy? Tom Selleck Scout said, we only have 3 points. Confluence. Flemmy is way funnier. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn said, thanks, Roberts. I was saying, in general, how you guys pick levels. I was using ooh as an example. Philly said, Mr. Roberts, for a second, I saw Gourmet. I got a side piece. That's funny. That's a good one. Okay. So yeah, DXY, usually during bearish times, the DXY is incredibly important because it kind of measures, I don't know, does it measure people going cash heavy? What I'm seeing out of this whole thing for longer term time frame is this previous support turned resistance. Can we actually reject that a third time and then continue to the downside? I think that would be a big deal for everything but the dollar. I don't mind it going up though. Like, investing is great, but if my dollar just had more value just because, that would also be great. You know what I mean? Like, if the cost of a house went down because the dollar went up in value, I don't think that would ever happen, but if it did, that'd be cool. You know? MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee, because for some reason they changed their logo, is chilling at 172.62. It is down 3.83% on the day. A lot of wicks to the downside. Indicative of buying pressure. My only concern is that we've had wicks recently, and it didn't really matter. Made a short difference for a very small period of time, and then we continued to dump afterwards. So are we going to get a little baby bounce off of that buying pressure, or no? And I guess my follow-up question to that is, again, I feel like I've been saying this for a little while, why in hell would anybody ever buy MicroStrategy over Bitcoin? It just doesn't make sense to me. That is such a god-awful chart. And this is another issue too, which I've brought up 1,000 times. When the chart looks bad like this, that is when you're supposed to buy. Like, if you're bullish on MicroStrategy, don't change your mind just because the chart looks bad. Come up with a plan, and maybe you do change your mind, but don't change your mind strictly because the chart looks bad, because that could be completely meaningless. Change your mind because XYZ. Don't change your mind because A, you know. But also that biased mindset of red chart, you know, number no go up, so me no want, is a little too immature. And the people that make money are the people that set aside all concerns and worries, and they just turn on like their sociopath disorder, and they just throw their life savings into this, and then it goes up like 300%, and then they've just like 3x their life savings. Those are the people that win. Let's see. Mr. Barber said, Gourmet, my average is 20.98. I bought at 21.80 first, then 19.60 as a second tranche. If this bounce keeps looking good and we still have a trade deal with China for minerals, then I'll buy a third time. Mr. Barber said, and try to get my average down to 18. I'd be happy there. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn said, I kind of like Rocket Mortgage as a buy, as interest rates might come off since they are the biggest mortgage company. Tom Saltzcoat said mine changed because of ZYX and not bullish MicroStrategy. That's totally fair. That is totally fair. I think just strictly basing your trade for a stock as well, especially for a stock, strictly basing your trade on the chart is silly. With stocks, you can deep dive into every aspect of the company, their revenue, their leaders, what's going on, like what's the sentiment around the company as a whole versus just the chart, and make a way more educated decision, which just makes more sense to me. What's interesting to me though is look at how much more volume is down here too compared to everywhere else. There's definitely a spike in volume since the price has fallen. NASDAQ is up 0.28% on the day. Is Fractal 3.0 going to play out beautifully so far? It actually looks like it might. RSI looks really good. Momentum wave looks great. Green dot. Confirmed green dots on MarketCypher as a whole as well. Latest one being November 14th, which I think we are just above. Let's see how it plays out. It looks good. S&P 500. Oh, I'm sorry. NASDAQ was not Fractal 2.0. This is, I guess the NASDAQ fractal has got to have a different name, right? What would we call it? We'll have to come up with a name. But the S&P 500 is Fractal 3.0. And so far, it looks pretty dang good. We are up 0.91% on the day, currently trading at 67.65. I suppose our next stop for a local high could potentially, not financial advice, if Fractal 3.0 is to be believed, be 69.36-ish for a potential local top. We got a bullish crossover the moving average to the RSI. Green dot on the momentum wave pointing to the upside. Looks good. We did not quite get the touch of 64.40, but I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. Dominance 58.58. Is it going to continue to break down and also continue to break Ben Cowan's heart? Only time will tell. And Bitcoin is chilling 87,927.80. Mr. Barber said, I like that call. Gourmet Fahid said, when FOMO. What's going on, Fahid? How you doing, my friend? Happy Tuesday. Gourmet Brands Brooklyn said, right. It's making some traction past couple of days. Mr. Barber said, Tom, I might sell my MicroStrategy soon too. Effer ain't effing. It's just, my brain cannot comprehend the justification behind buying it. Unless there's something I'm missing. Is there like dividends or something like that? I don't really know enough about it, which I suppose makes me feel a little silly, but I'm a crypto guy. Give me a break. On the 4-hour, Bitcoin did get I'm going to call this whole thing a bounce off the moving average on the RSI. And we also have a green dot on the momentum wave pointing to the upside. Very interesting. My question here is, we didn't ever fill the CME gap, did we? Oh, maybe we did? I don't know. It's hard to tell. Friday close right here at this top, 85,169. And then Sunday, yeah, no, we never closed the CME gap. Unless this counts, this little wick right here touching the tip. Maybe we did. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe the very early Monday closed it. Okay, news articles, guys. We got a lot of news articles today. Kind of excited to get through them. Fed Governor Stephen Moran says the U.S. economy calls for large interest rate cuts. Russia expands investment options for crypto-linked assets. Congressman Warren Davidson says the U.S. can add funds. I'm making stuff up. Congressman Warren Davidson says U.S. can fund its Bitcoin reserve by accepting taxes in Bitcoin. Wouldn't that would not be budget neutral? You can't take taxes and reallocate them to a Bitcoin reserve. That's kind of silly. Why would he say that? That sounds stupid. Mr. Barber said, I'll keep some of it because I think the prospects of strategy becoming a different type of bank is possible. On the margin, maybe. Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Okay, next, this one's kind of a huge deal. Polymarket secures CFTC approval to operate fully as an exchange for U.S. retail users and brokerages. That's huge. Huge potential there. Congratulations, Polymarket. I think prediction markets are going to take over sports betting. We also have Dr. Zola from Captain America Marvel franchise. Hail Hydra. Kevin Hassett is now President Trump's top choice for replacing Jerome Powell as Federal Reserve Chair. Tell me that does not look just like... Where's my stupid reply? Should be right on top because I'm the one looking at it. Am I crazy? I guess I'm crazy. He looks just like the Hail Hydra doctor guy from Captain America. The guy from the Human Centipede. The doctor from the Human Centipede. Which is an effed up movie if you haven't seen it and you're curious. I wouldn't say highly recommend. I do think everyone should watch it though. Once upon a time in their life. Texas becomes first state to buy Bitcoin, investing $10 million into its strategic reserve. That's really the first state. That actually kind of blows my mind. $5 trillion JP Morgan says crypto is emerging as a tradable macro asset. Thank you, JP Morgan. We hate you. This one's crazy. Marty Party posted the card thing. Periods when to make money, the liquidity cycle snippet from LQL group chat. It says 2035 is the best exit. 2032 best entries. 2023 were our entries. 2026 is a good exit. 2034 is a good exit. Use this chart to design your long-term holdings. If you're young, accumulating till 2053 is billionaire status. 2035 is my target. This is the liquidity cycle. Ignore all other narratives. And that is this right here. This card from 1875, which has been spot on every single time. Every single time. 2007, it recommended selling in 2007. What came right after that? The 2008 financial crisis. It recommended selling in 2016. What came shortly after that? It recommended, or it pointed out the panic in 2019. We all know what happened after that. It's just crazy. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. Reese said Zebek don't stop. Mr. Robert said JJ look up a picture of Linda Hamilton from the last Terminator movie. Tell me she doesn't look like Mark. No. Linda Hamilton Terminator. I see it. I see it. She kind of reminds me of Jane Lynch. What? I just saw her in something. Is it Resident Alien? Yeah. I mean, she's a freaking smoke show in Terminator 2. I think she's a badass lady. I see Mark Hamill. I totally see it. Is that a bad thing, though? I mean, how many dudes want to bang Mark Hamill? Am I losing it? Am I losing the chat? Tom Sellerscout said, bro says the doctor from the Human Centipede, like we're supposed to know who that is. Not all of us are serial killers? Let me see. How have you not seen the Human Centipede? Okay. I guess it's not who I thought it was. Okay, it's just Dr. Zola. Dr. Zola Marvel. I think it's Zola. Yes, Arnim Zola. Bam. Tell me this is not our new the power replacement. Let me see, hold on. Kevin Hassett. I'm gonna click between the two pictures so that you guys can fully understand. Is this mean? It's not meant to be mean. Ready? Bam. Oh, that's the wrong thing. He looks very similar. Okay, hang on. Let me get a more accurate picture of Dr. Zola. Like a front-facing one. Why is it so hard to find pictures of this guy? Alright, I guess I can't find one. I don't know. Go watch Marvel. I'm a big fan. Kind of a nerdy thing, but he looks very similar. You just gotta find the right angle. I swear. I swear he looks similar. Alright, Zebek don't stop. Tom Selks goat. Yep. Mr. Barber said, I did love the performance by her in the movies, though. She was hot as hell in the first one. LOL. I agree. Meta decided to buy AI chips from Alphabet, Google, not NVIDIA, according to whatever, I'm assuming Business Insider. Nope, Bloomberg Business. Interesting. Nvidia shares are down 6%. Interesting. Mr. Barber said Hassett loses on the intensity of each of the gents' gaze. That's true. Yeah, Hassett definitely looks a little more soft. Dr. Zola is a little more intimidating. Hassett kind of looks like he looks like you just push him over and walk past him if he was like trying to stop you from doing something. Next we got US PPI month over month from September. Actual 0.3, forecast 0.3, previous minus 0.1, core PPI actual 0.1, forecast 0.2, previous minus 0.1. This one's huge. Ukraine supports essence of peace deals framework following Geneva talks, Ukrainian official tells Reuters. We have another confirmation of that later on in here as well, right there. Ukraine has agreed to the full terms of President Trump's peace plan to end the war with Russia. So I believe if we get Russia to confirm agreement with that, that's going to be insane news for the market. The market is going to go bananas if that happens. Tom Sells-Goat said, I'm trying to figure out how you thought Human Centipede and am Googling stuff. Did you seriously watch not only the first one, but the sequel? Because the doctor in the second one... Okay, that's probably what it is. Let me look. Hold on. It's probably the same actor. Oh, shit. Human Centipede 2 Doctor. Okay, yes, that is who I was thinking of. Unfortunately, it's a black and white, so my brain just stopped caring. Because I'm American. Yeah, the one from the first one kind of looks like Hannibal Lecter. That's so weird. What a weird movie. I don't know who somebody wrote that. Not only did somebody write that, but somebody else funded it. And then there were people that like auditioned and got roles and acted that out. While there was other people in the background like watching, they're like, yes. Now I want you to really go through that again. We'll reshoot. I want you to really show the emotion on your eyes, because your mouth is sewn. Your mouth is sewn to this other individual, so we can't see any of this. You really need to like express in your eyes. I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want to feel what you're going through. And the poor actor is like, I understand. That's insane. What a weird movie. Tom Selleck said, what are you doing with your life? Hey, man, I didn't make the movie. I'm just a connoisseur. No way Russia agrees to the deal. I don't know what the deal is. Mr. Barber said, I saw the thumbnail of that movie and chose not to watch it. Don't recommend watching it. Like, legit. I know I said earlier, I recommend people watch it once in their life. And I guess that recommendation comes with a caveat. If you're, like, in high school or, like, college, you're, like, a dumb college kid, and you're like, oh, we should watch this effed up movie, then sure. But if you're, like, an adult person that, like, cares about life, probably don't watch it. It's pretty messed up. I don't think about it often, but when it does cross my mind, I'm like, damn, that was not a fun movie. You know what I mean? There's other things too. Like I've tried to come up with concepts in my brain, and I've come to the conclusion that I'm not creative. Because I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, what is the most scary thing, like realistically frightening for a person in today's world? And I tried to brainstorm that and come up with like a movie idea, and I was like, okay, you have a family and you get evicted, you lose your job and you get evicted. And I'm like, man, no, who would ever want to watch that movie? But that is like the scariest thing as an adult man. That's the scariest thing to think about, like losing your home and your livelihood and not being able to take care of your family. And I'm like, that sounds like a shitty movie. It's a bad movie.
Amazing stream so far, bro. You can use the super chat to buy a dong shirt at some point. Smiles.
Nice. They're only going to be $5, Zach. Thank you very much, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are interested, I do recommend joining the Dong Discord. I know you guys probably won't, because you guys are all old men. No offense. But they're doing a t-shirt contest where you design a t-shirt, because if you guys don't know, Zach made t-shirts for Snack one time. He also likes trains. and may or may not be gay. We're still trying to figure that last one out. But it's a lot of fun. If you are design savvy, I recommend checking it out. Mr. Roberts said, I mean, there were some pretty effed up movies in my time too, but I just think twice now, you know? Oh yeah. I mean, it's just not necessary to a certain extent. I kind of I get a little irritated when there's like too many like sex scenes in like a TV show or movie I'm trying to watch. I'm like, you can hint to this happening. You can show the viewer this is happening without actually showing it happening. You know what I mean? Just it seems unnecessary to a certain point. I guess I've never seen a sex scene in a movie or show and gone, there's no way they could have done this differently and me got the same exact result out of it. I've never had that occur. Every time it happens, I'm like, why is this happening? I shut it off or like fast forward through it or something because I'm just trying to like sit down and enjoy a film or something. And my family's exists, so I'm can't just have porn on the TV. And for some reason, there's directors that are like, we should put porn in here. And somebody's like, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. It's just weird, man. Anyways, Google extends gains to nearly plus 4% during overnight trading. The stock has now added $800 billion in market cap over the last 30 days. Pretty crazy. Google's going to be a big deal. I don't know why people would ever think otherwise. Google has kind of dominated the space for a long time. So it's no surprise. Drummer said link to shirt thing. I will put a link in the Dong or to the Dong Discord. Join the Discord and ask there, and they can help you. Link. Invite people. Expires. Never. Generate new link. Copy. Okay, I'm going to put this is for the Dong Discord in the chat. Drummer, join that. I'm going to label it as well. Join that, and then there is t-shirt channel. It is called Community T-Shirt Ideas. And you can submit there. And I believe if you win, you get a free shirt. Don't quote me on that, though. Next, we've got Ukraine. Yep, we read that. U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent says there's a very good chance if President Trump announces a new Fed chair before Christmas. I'm pretty sure that literally just happened. It's pretty exciting stuff. We got Dr. Zola. Breaking, U.S. private payrolls fell by an average of 13,500 per week in the 4 weeks ending November 8th. This is up sharply from minus 2,500 per week in the previous period. The Fed must continue cutting rates. The labor market is too weak. Turn on that money printer, baby. We are ready. We're ready, Daddy Powell. What if he, like, before he goes, he just prints so much money? Breaking. September PPI inflation rises to 2.7%, above expectations of 2.6%. Core PPI inflation fell to 2.6%, below expectations of 2.7%. PPI inflation remains less of a problem than the weakening labor market. We see a December rate cut on its way. Let's freaking go. You know, I'm so disappointed in myself. I said when the odds lowered to like near zero of a rate cut, I said out loud and to myself, I should take the Polymarket bet for the rate cut because I know they're going to cut rates. I was sure of it, and I didn't do it, and I could be sitting pretty right now. I'm pretty sure you can close it early, too. Adam Kobiesi posted, ironically, it looks like President Trump's call for rate cuts in March 2025 came at exact top of the labor market. The Fed is now behind the 8-ball on both inflation and the labor market. That is actually pretty crazy. Zach said, free shirt with your design, a sticker, and $69K free dong. So that is if your design gets picked. Pretty exciting stuff. Believe it or not, I'm going to roast Zach a little bit here. He talks all the time about how he made t-shirts for Snack. And dong has been a thing for a while. Long time. And he is one of like the founding members. Yet it took them over a year to offer t-shirts. Just think about that. Just think about it. He also has a future-proof PC and a 4K camera. I love you, Zach. Okay, story of the day. Alphabet Google is now up another 4%, and Nvidia is down 4% on concerns over increased competition. This comes after reports that Meta is considering using Google's AI chips over Nvidia's. So, is this really bad for Nvidia? The reality is that AI compute demand is rising 50 to 70% year over year and is well above levels Nvidia can keep up with. Nvidia still controls as much as 90% of the global AI chip market. That's a monopoly. I thought that that was illegal. Of course, increased competition is a material development, but Nvidia is still the arms dealer of AI. And the fact that AI chip demand is spreading beyond Nvidia only reinforces how far we are from an AI bubble. AI demand is exploding faster than supply. And that, ladies and gentlemen, why I think energy stocks are going to do really well, because we're not going to have enough energy to do any of this. Franco City said, damn, 90%. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's not even a contained monopoly either. That is global. That is a global monopoly. Name something else that one company controls 90% of. Cartoons? Disney? No. Sony makes cartoons. There's a million other places that make cartoons. Disney maybe is like 70% if they're lucky. And that's pushing it. Video games, I would have said Steam like 5-10 years ago, but now there's the Epic Game Store, there's GOG Games, there's a million other game places. What else? Consoles are kind of dying. Microsoft, Linux is popular, so is Mac. You really can't, there's nothing else out there. Besides, there's like utility companies, but that's like local, and I believe that's government enforced to prevent power lines everywhere. I think Nvidia is probably has the most global reach for something so prominent. Maybe ever. I don't know who owns the oil. I don't know anything about that. So I guess there's industries that I'm uneducated on, like gold and silver mining, crap like that, but those are probably multiple companies, maybe within the same country. Like I think China controls most of rare earth minerals and crap like that. But I think it's probably multiple Chinese companies. Nvidia, 90% of chips is crazy. That is actually insane. Huge potential though for competition. It seems stupid thinking about it now. You're like, well, I can't compete with Nvidia, so why would I even get involved? But that's how Facebook came to be. MySpace was the top dog. And Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook, which was so boring, bland, you couldn't do anything. They controlled like every aspect, whereas MySpace, you could do whatever the hell you want. People liked that control. They didn't want to make decisions for themselves, so they flocked to Facebook. Facebook blew up. Instagram did the same thing. Twitter did the same thing. All these social media sites are basically copy paste of each other, and they all blew up, and they all have a huge chunk of market share, and they sustain thousands of employees. So it's crazy. This is historic. Alphabet, Google, has accounted for 19.4% of the S&P 500's year-to-date gain, as the most among any stock. This comes as the company has added 1.3 trillion in the market cap this year. Nvidia has had the second largest impact at 16%, or plus $1 or 1.05 trillion. This is followed by Broadcom, and Microsoft, which delivered 520 billion and 380 billion respectively. As a result, the top 10 stocks have accounted for 59.4% of the S&P 500's year-to-date gains. In other words, the remaining 490 stocks have accounted for just 40.6% of the S&P 500's rally. Big tech is all that matters. And unfortunately, I think it's making real life boring because everyone's just in their phones all the time. Nobody actually goes out and does stuff. You know how much fun it is to like walk through the woods? It's insanely fun, and nobody does it. Mr. Roberts said, I gotta peace out soon. See y'all. JJ, take it easy, Mr. Roberts. Happy Tuesday. Appreciate you for stopping by. Franco said, major sports leagues are monopolies. Okay, that's a fair one, actually. Yeah, NFL and NBA. Other pro leagues do exist, but nobody watches. I do agree with that. However, there does seem to be a nice comeuppance, I don't know if that's the right word, bubbling where like these alternative sports leagues are starting to gain a little bit of traction. There's UFC, there's like other fight leagues. I couldn't name any of them, so clearly it's a little bit early. But there's other fight leagues slowly like blooming. There's like the slap fighting thing. That's hilarious. But there's like real stuff, you know. I guess NFL, NBA, those ones kind of seem untouched. I haven't seen anything about football or basketball or baseball. Hockey probably has multiple leagues. Yeah, that's a big one. That is a big one. Okay. I do like the idea of there being competition for all of these things though, because it'll make it more accessible and cheaper and more fun, if we're being real. The US middle class is disappearing. US households with incomes larger than 150K, adjusted for inflation, now make up a record 34% of all households, rising 29 percentage points since 1965. At the same time, the middle class has shrunk 11 percentage points to 45%, the lowest on record. To put this differently, the middle class is shrinking as many households have joined the upper middle class. However, living costs for basic family budget are now between 130 and 150K. Where? This comes as... Oh boy, I just got kicked off of Bitunix. This comes as cost of childcare. Okay, that's fair. Housing, healthcare, and taxes have risen far faster than wages, leaving even two full-time earners struggling to reach stability. The wealth gap is broadening. So here's my thing. Childcare, I guess, might be unavoidable in some circumstances. In a lot of cases, though, unless you're like making a lot of money, it's literally not worth it. Like, if we had paid for childcare instead of like homeschooling and my fiance being a stay-at-home mom, all the money that she would have made from having a job, being able to have a job for paying for childcare, would have gone straight to childcare. So it kind of defeats the purpose. You're either spending time with your kid or not spending time with your kid. You know, pick which one you want. Housing is expensive. That one's unavoidable. Healthcare, the like state healthcare or whatever, the federal, I don't know if it's state or federal. The healthcare benefits that you can get depending on your income, I suppose, make up a good chunk of that. But once you reach a certain income threshold, you don't qualify for that. And actual insurance is kind of ridiculously expensive. I think the cheapest plan I've looked into like 10 years ago was like $400 a month. And it was like bare minimum coverage with like $1,000 deductible. So it kind of defeated the purpose. It's just crazy. It's crazy to me, man. I like this idea of an upper middle class. When do you get to upper class? You got to make over what? Like, what's the qualification there? Options markets activity is skyrocketing. The average daily notional trading volume in S&P 500 options hit a record 3.5 trillion last week. The dollar value of all options traded each day has doubled over the last year and has surged over 800% since 2020. As a result, national option volumes in the S&P 500 have now exceeded the Russell 2000's market cap for the first time. Wow. This comes as total options volume reached 95 million contracts, one of the highest in history, according to Goldman Sachs. All while the total year-to-date put volumes have risen to their third highest levels in history, investors are piling into options markets at a record pace. That is crazy. Too much, man. There's too much leverage everywhere in crypto and stocks. It's out of control. Franco said, haha, for a bit there, WCW gave WWF a run for its money. Wrestling is another one with a lot of spin-offs and stuff. It's fun. It makes it more fun too, because then you like, I could just imagine being in like middle school and you and your friends being like diehard WWF fans, or back then for me it was WWE still. And then like the neighbor kid being like, WCW is so much better. And then one of your friends will like secretly start to enjoy WCW more. And then eventually, like, you guys get old enough, you start going to high school, and everyone's like, yeah, they're both pretty good. But in middle school, you're like, F you, WCW sucks. You're not our friend. You know what I mean? That good stuff. Good stuff, man. Gatekeeping in middle school. Last week's market crash has been erased. The S&P 500 has now added 250 points since Friday's low, now above the November 20th high before the crash. That is plus 2.1 trillion in market cap in less than 3 trading days. And this puts the S&P 500 just 2.2% away from entering new all-time high territory. The reality is that the AI revolution has only become larger. The Fed is cutting rates into a hot market, and smart investors want more assets. If you can eliminate the noise the noise, this market becomes incredibly profitable. Own assets or be left behind. Pretty interesting. Mohar Productions. Zach said Glacier was my dude. Ah ha 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 ha. I was a Hollywood Hulk Hogan guy myself. After today's move, S&P 500 2% away from all-time highs. Fear and Greed Index 16, extreme fear. Sentiment is perfectly positioned for an end-of-year Santa rally. You know what cracks me up? The idea of all of, and it's unfortunate because I'm part of this group, but I don't act this way. But the idea of all of these like millennials entering the stock market space, and then the second anyone says anything remotely bearish, they're like, "Oh, we're scared. We're scared. We're gonna dump." And Fear and Greed goes to like extreme fear because all of these younger kids are like a bunch of weenies about like a little 2-3% pullback. It's kind of funny to think about. What's this saying? Weak men create hard times or something like that. It's good stuff, man. It's funny to think about. It really is. What do we got next? Investment funds are going all in on stocks. Cash levels in U.S. equity mutual funds have declined to 1.2% of total assets, the lowest in at least 20 years. This is below the February low of 1.3% and the 1.5% low seen before the 2022 bear market. By comparison, the average mutual fund held 5.3% cash during the 2008 financial crisis. Today's level is also half of what funds held in 2023. As a result, their cash and liquid assets fell to $155 billion, near the lowest since the 2020 pandemic. Mutual funds are deploying unprecedented amounts of cash into equities. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Solana ETFs saw 369 million of inflows in November as investors rotate into yield-generating assets. Here we go. CME FedWatch tool puts the odds of a 25 basis point Fed rate cut in December at 84.7%, with just 15.3% for no change. JShear 2.0 said, "Sup family, what's going on, JShear 2.0? Happy Tuesday, my friend." Kraken launches the Crack MasterCard debit app in the UK EU with real-time crack addictions. I'm just kidding. With real-time multi-asset spending and IBAN salary deposits. That's pretty sick. I will say, I think Coinbase, I don't know if they still do it, but I believe during last bull market, they announced this big deal where you could have your paycheck direct deposited into your Coinbase account. And I was like, damn, that's dangerous. I almost did it. I definitely considered it. Dangerous though. Miguel said, "Why you don't talk about XRP?" I do talk about XRP. It's just not going to be my whole show. What do you want to know? Bullish Singapore Exchange, Bitcoin and ETH perps saw 2,000 contracts and 35 million notional on day one. Very cool. CryptoQuaint reports a sharp spike in short-term Bitcoin holder capitulation, a pattern that has historically preceded short-term market bottoms. And there you go. Short-term market bottom has been preceded. President Trump unveiled the Genesis mission, a new national initiative to accelerate AI-driven scientific innovation. Hell yeah. BlackRock moved 4,471 Bitcoin, 390.8 million to Coinbase Prime. I'm not sure what that means. Huge. This one is another metric that's going to continue to increase over time until we don't even pay attention to it anymore. Annual stablecoin transfer volume has exceeded $50 trillion. I think that this is only going to continue to grow because stablecoins are going to, in my opinion, receive like global adoption. And these numbers are eventually going to like decouple from crypto entirely. We're not even going to be able to like consider them in RTA at all. It's like looking at US dollar dominance. All right. What do we got next? This one's crazy too. This is the one that I talked about earlier with Stellar and their chart not reacting at all, but I feel like this is huge news. Maybe I'm crazy. US Bank is testing custom stablecoin issuance on the Stellar network in collaboration with PwC and the Stellar Development Foundation. Now, Stellar XLM during the last bull market was, from what I remember, the like most talked about for transfers, and they add like the memo thing, which makes it like almost like two-factor authentication. It's really safe and it's actually like instant. Like you hit send and the amount of time that it takes you to click on your wallet to see if you receive the funds, if you could take like a sliver of that period of time from you like moving tabs on Chrome, that is how long it takes for XLM to get your money where it's supposed to go. Blew my mind back then. Now, not so much because a lot of coins offer that, but Stellar was the original that I remember everybody talking about. Okay, next we've got Bitcoin has flashed a death cross signaling weakening momentum after its recent drop and setting up the possibility of deeper correction, consolidation, or rebound depending on key support levels. No bounce time with death cross happened in bear markets. Interesting. So we'll see if we get a bounce. This is Colin Talks Crypto. Kind of an arbitrary line, but I see it. You know, he's got 2 points of confluence. The third one kind of broke, so we'll see what happens. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index remains in extreme fear at 20 today. Let's actually take it. Should have updated since the daily close. We are at 15 now. Interesting. Okay. So again, this is like the longest it's been consolidated is May, June, July of 2021. And May, June, July of 2022, actually. Let's go check that out. No, I want to go to the daily. May, June, July, 21 and 22. May, June, July, 21, 22. Here we go. Here's 21. May, June, July. Local bottom. Yeah, right here. 21 and 22. May, June, July. So all right here. Those were the 2 times where fear and greed lingered that low. So I suppose you could probably make the argument for this. And then are we going to head into this and make another higher high? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But if you're one of the people that think we're going to a 12-month long bear market, then you know that's your next point. Time will tell. It's going to be interesting to see what actually plays out. I like the idea of the business cycle, and it also matches up with the 2026 call that I've been preaching since January. So that's where I'm at. H-bar looks really good. Got a nice bounce off 14. What else has nice returns? Fartcoin. Fartcoin for some reason has been ripping. Pun intended. Looks pretty good. 8 is up 1.2%. Let's go. Yeah, H-bar looks really nice. I like how it kind of exploded the other day, and nobody really even had a chance to notice. Okay, so Crypto Fear and Greed is kind of crazy. Let's go take a look at the CoinMarketCap one as well, just to be sure. I like to be thorough. 15. Extreme Fear still. Dang, this thing's been deep for a little while. All right, we've got altcoins, according to Stock Money Lizards. I like this chart. We got mass liquidations, explosion, Altseason 2016. Mass liquidations, explosion, Altseason 2020. Mass liquidations, hopefully followed by an explosion 2025. I do also still like the tinfoil hat conspiracies around the October 10th scenario. Tom Lee just said Bitcoin is still going to 200K in 65 days. Here we go. That's the picture's epic. He's like, it's still going to 200K. That's pretty good. It's good stuff. Former Coinbase advisor Kevin Hassett emerges as favorite to become next Fed chair. Let's freaking go. Bitcoin has reached RSI levels this low only 6 times in history. One was a bottom, which resulted in a pretty epic bull after that. 2 was on its way to a bottom, which resulted in a pretty epic bull run after that. 3 and 4 were before the 2021 peak. Yep. So you could make that argument right there. We're at 3 or 4. If you're trying to be bullish. 5 and 6, I guess 5 is bullish as well. 6, that's just so weird to me that the RSI is this low and the price is still way up there. Like, what is actually going on? Kind of blows my mind. Unbelievable how misunderstood this market is. This is the business cycle that everyone's talking about. It's definitely interesting to see how everything's playing out. Realized losses among new investors in major altcoins are rising as prices continue to struggle to recover, signaling growing stress across the speculative end of the market. Drummer said October 10th. What about it? That oversold? So October 10th, because it was a wick, we technically... Oh, that might be why the RSI... Actually, yeah, that's a good point. That is a great point. That might be why the RSI is wrecked. On the longer term, yeah, because that really did, like, really put a big thorn in the side of the market. So that's probably definitely playing a role for sure. Bitcoin losing capital to altcoins, while Bitcoin spot ETFs saw 151 million outflows. ETH, SOL, and XRP ETFs attracted 318.7 million in new money. Interesting. And then last but not least, our update. We got all of our Tuesday data. Wednesday, U.S. Q3 2025 GDP data. September durable goods orders data. September PCE inflation data. September new home sales data. And then Thursday, the market's closed for Thanksgiving. And Friday, market closes at 1 p.m. for a half day. So, exciting stuff. Are you guys doing anything crazy for Thanksgiving? I am going to my mom's, and I'm going to engorge myself with a ridiculous amount of food. Portfolio update. The 1K to 10K Grok portfolio is currently down 459, which is 45.9%. None of these assets are in the green. Starting from the bottom, Fetch is down 164. Aptos is down 163. I'm sorry, not 100. Fetch is down 64. Aptos is down 63. Proppy is down 55. Render's down 51. Ondo's down 50. ADA is down 45. SHIB is down 44. Doge is down 37, Near is down 37, and Sol is down 17. Then we've got the meme coin portfolio, which is currently down 553, 55.3%. None of these assets are in the green. GigaChad got a pretty nice 16% pump. It's about damn time. Starting from the bottom, GigaChad is down 159. SNEC is down 131. PEPE is down 104. WIF is down 90, and Doge is down 70. Then we've got the narrative portfolio, my favorite and the most stable, currently down 169. Nice. We do have one asset in the green here. If you guys are curious, this portfolio is made up of one meme coin, one artificial intelligence coin, one decentralized physical infrastructure coin, one rare world asset coin, and one gaming coin. And it's kind of killing it. Again, we have one asset in the green, the rest are in the red. Starting from the bottom, Fetch is down 53, VeChain is down 50, Mana is down 40, PEPE is down 35, and Tau is up 7. Somehow, Tau is still carrying the entire portfolio. Kind of crazy. But I say this was down 169, which is 32%. And then last but not least, the perfect entry portfolio. Currently down 388, which is 38.8%. Is that right? Yeah, 388. None of these assets are in the green either. Starting from the bottom, Avalanche is down 59, Render's down 56, Pith is down 51, Sui's down 50, Ondo's down 44, Graph is down 43, Crow is down 29, ETH is down 24, Sol is down 23, and Blink is down 14. And that is it. Fahid said good old wrestling. Liquidation heat map is chill. Bitcoin also kind of chill. Market's looking pretty decent. I'm hoping, honestly, if it was crashing, like I was gonna say, I hope it doesn't get a little janky during Thanksgiving, but it would kind of make for entertaining conversation. 88 373. Where's my closest one right here? That got liquidated. 88 373. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn said staying local, 10 people. S over B, mellow Thanksgiving. I don't know what SB means. Looking forward to just chilling, watching some football. I'm actually also looking forward to just chilling. I feel like it's been forever since I've had like a proper family gathering. Food, I might smoke a cigar. 87 173. What is going on here? 87 173. Really? People are getting a little too ballsy with their shorts and longs. Oops. Okay. My stepbrother is gonna have a baby soon. Well, he's not gonna have a baby. His girlfriend's gonna have a baby, which is exciting because they've been. I think they're the last in the family to not have kids. I just realized that. Dang. Took them long enough. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn. Yep, read that. Cool, cool, cool. All right, Bitcoin is chilling. 87 900. Anything, let's see, what's anything over 1%? Barcoin pretty close, 0.95. H bar 1.12. ADA 1.49. ETH. Fahid said congrats. I will let him know you said that. I want to look at total 2 really quick. Total 3 is at a focal point right now. 881. Getting above 883 is going to be a big deal. Let's take a look at total 2. Interesting. Okay, so total 2's got a little ways to go. It's at 1.24. I suppose 125 is going to be a psychological round number resistance. It's kind of the midpoint between 117 and 132, or close enough. 132 is our next stop. RSI looks good. It's riding that moving average. Green dot of the momentum wave, even though we're almost overbought. Money flow is negative, though. Volume could be better. And let's go take a look at total crypto market cap. 299. Okay, so getting above 3 is going to be a big deal here again. I don't mind this structure, though. The structure actually held quite nice. It looks like a big mess, but it's actually relevant. Trust me. Yeah, check that out. Whoops. So we talked about this, how the trajectory is kind of changing every single time. Well, let me get rid of that. Let me just copy paste this. I'll make it easier. Copy paste and drag it over here. Okay, so the first one was up. Second one, a little more shallow. Third one, very shallow. Shallow. Fourth one, I made this probably way too shallow, honestly, but the concept is there. I'll make this one a little dotted, and then I'm going to copy paste it. Put it in the same place, and bring this, like, reel it in a little bit. Make it solid again. So, I guess I would like that one first. My estimate for total market cap, April-May 2026, 5 trillion. Ooh. We're at 3 right now. Can we get a 66% pump right here? That'd be pretty sick. That would take forever, though. That's looking like December 2026, if it takes that long. Wouldn't that be crazy? How many impatient people would lose their minds? That's November's better. Let's, I don't know. Can we get to 5 trillion by August? I kind of like August better. But the trajectory, I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it around December. If we break out right now, then the whole thing will scoot. And we'll be looking at November. November 28th specifically. It's not that much better, but it is what it is. 9-month bleed, 5-month bleed. What are we looking at? 2 or 3? Right now, it has been, we're on the daily, 58 days, so that would be 2. So December 3rd? December matches for like 2 to 2.5 months. Let's see if something happens in December. It's kind of exciting. There's data to back it up. Nice ascending channel as well. Ooh, we got... Are we going to touch this legacy trend line? Whoa. Let's extend this out. Hang on. What if this becomes relevant? It's tripping me out. This is starting to match up. Lines eventually diverge when they're not both perpendicular or parallel. What would that be? Not financial advice. Looking at a potential, I don't know, 2027? Wouldn't that be nuts? If the market just went on for forever, just pumping forever? That'd be too much. That would be too much, man. Honestly, though, it kind of makes sense. If they print a certain amount of money for every baby that's born, if the population is just exponentially increasing over time for forever, it makes sense that assets would increase for forever as well. It's kind of like a inescapable Ponzi scheme, if you really think about it. And I'm not talking about crypto specifically, just life in general. Life is a Ponzi scheme. I'm joking, by the way. I'm actually joking. Okay. Bitcoin, like I said, chilling 87.8. I suppose I'm going to call it. It is a work day. As always, guys, if Bitcoin starts to do anything crazy, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Tuesday and good night.